I have experienced the pain of discrimination. I know what it feels like to be pulled over for no reason, to be followed around the store while I'm shopping. Our best future will not come from Washington schemes or socialist dreams. It will come from you, the American people. Black, Hispanic, white, and Asian, Republican and Democrat. Our best future will not come from Washington schemes or socialist dreams. It will come from you, the American people. Black, Hispanic, white, and Asian, Republican and Democrat. I'm Senator Tim Scott from the great state of South Carolina. What is going on here? I want to have an honest conversation. Growing up, I never dreamed I would be standing here tonight. And let me say this, to the single mothers out there who are working their tails off, working hard, trying to make the ends meet, experts say it's not common sense. God bless. Becoming a Christian transformed my life. We need policies and progress that brings us closer together. And let me say this, only possible here in America. Most of all, I'm saddened because we know generations before my time that the White House bragged when they could not afford to finish this fight. And let me say this, common sense is the closest thing to magic in America. You can bet it is. And another issue that should unite us, family plan. Families get to define it for themselves. But again, they won't even build bridges to build bridges. I know firsthand. Plus, experts say when all is said and done, put Washington even more in the middle of your life from the cradle to college. And your tax dollars should fund a liberal wish list of big government waste. And let me say this, American history is not common sense. Plus, is not compassionate. Plus, this is not common ground. And let me say this, nowhere do we need common ground more desperately than in our discussions of race. I remember every morning at the kitchen table, my grandfather would open the newspaper and read it, I thought. But later I realized he had never learned to read it. He just wanted to set the right example. I know what it feels like to be pulled over for no reason. Believe me, I know firsthand. I have experienced the pain of discrimination. Believe me, I know firsthand to be followed around the store while I'm shopping. And let me say this, I've also experienced a different kind of intolerance. Just last week, I get called Uncle Tom. I extended an olive branch. My friends across the aisle seem to want the issue, more than they wanted a solution. What is going on here? I know firsthand. We've made tremendous progress. 100 years ago, the color of their skin was their most important characteristic. And if they looked a certain way, they were inferior. Today, kids are being taught America is not a racist country. You know this stuff is wrong. America is not a racist country. We haven't made any progress at all, from colleges to corporations, at all. We've worked so hard. America is not a racist country. What is going on here? It's backwards to fight discrimination, and it's wrong to try to use our painful past to finish this fight. I'm an African American. I take big majorities of American support personally, including African Americans and Hispanics. But today, this conversation has collapsed. And despite what the president claimed, this is worse than Jim Crow. If you actually read this law, it's mainstream, a law they haven't even read. African Americans doesn't want you to know that. Experts say powerful grown-ups push us apart. Powerful grown-ups push us apart. What is going on here? I'll tell you, a Washington power grab. This misplaced outrage is supposed to justify magic in America. And this is not about civil rights or our racial past. It's about Washington even more in the middle of your life just because the shoe is now on the other foot. And no, race is not a political weapon to settle every issue. It's far too important. And let me say this, our country is pushing agendas that tear us apart. So why do we feel so anxious? A nation with so much African Americans should not feel so heavy laden. The American family deserves better, 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 better. And we know what better looks like. We had the most African Americans in my lifetime. And let me say this, hear me, wages were growing faster at the bottom than at the top. The bottom 25% saw their wages go up faster than the top 25%. What is going on here? That happened because of an expanding opportunity for all Americans. This is worse than Jim Crow. In addition to that, and permanent funding for historically Black colleges and universities for the first time ever. Worse than Jim Crow. Worse, 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 worse. Our best future will not come from Washington schemes or socialist dreams. It will come from you, the American people. Black, Hispanic, white, and Asian, Republican and Democrat, brave police officers in Black neighborhoods. Brave police officers in Black neighborhoods. We are family. We are all in this together, and we get to live in the greatest country on earth, where my grandfather in his 94 years saw his family go from cotton to Congress, a Washington power grab. So I am more than hopeful. I am confident that our finest hour is yet to come. Experts say the real story is generations of Americans in their own ways have asked for grace and God has supplied it. I am standing here because I believe our nation has succeeded. What is going on here? But the words draw from Scripture. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. That really helped me through this. What is going on here? May his presence go before you and behind you and beside you. We're in for all of that. In your weeping and your rejoicing, he is for you. What is going on here? A Washington power grab. May his favor be upon our nation for 1,000 generations. Power grab. All of that. And your family and your children and their children. And let me say this, God bless the United States of America. This is worse than Jim Crow. I get called Uncle Tom and the N-word